Hello and a very warm welcome to this special election episode of The Buck Stops Here. We've been travelling on the ground through Uttar Pradesh, and tonight we're coming to you from Allahabad, from the absolutely gorgeous Ewing Christian College, founded in 1902, in of course the university town of Allahabad, a seat of learning and of course a seat of high public intellectualism. Also of course the seat of the Sangam, and always the hot seat of politics. On a day when there has been a rather remarkable voter turnout after the first phase of the UP elections have concluded, more than 62% of people came out to vote. This despite inclement weather in the morning, rain in the morning, and so many media reports on voter apathy and cynicism. What does the voter turnout mean? And also our special focus on this program today is Uttar Pradesh and our Indian elections in general ready to move beyond caste and religion? Are identity politics as entrenched as they were before? Or do other factors like development, governance and youth factor play a role in trumping and diminishing the influence of both caste and religion? We have with us today voices from Allahabad, a small audience as well, also a panel that I'll be introducing shortly. But first we must take you through the defining image of the day, that high voter turnout after the first phase.
ये 165 कहाँ है?
As we've been saying, more than 62% of people have voted in Uttar Pradesh amidst reports of apathy, amidst reports of cynicism, and despite the rain. And by the way, right here, it's so windy, it feels like it's going to be pouring any moment. But mercifully for the Election Commission, voting day is over and it's ended very, very satisfactorily. Rahul Srivastav, my colleague who's also been tracking Uttar Pradesh for many, many years, joins me from Lucknow. Rahul, there are two ways, or many ways in fact, of reading the high voter turnout. One is to say that this reflects anti-incumbency. That's what some pundits would say. But others would say it actually shows that people are engaged with the political process, that in fact perhaps communities and castes that have always been loyal to one or the other leader have come out in huge numbers to vote. How do you read the high voter turnout?
Barka, one round gone, 6 more to go. Nearly little less than 1/6 of UP's voters have cast their vote today. The high voter turnout is a talking point, especially in the morning when I stepped out to report on what was happening. It was raining cats and dogs, and in the first 2 hours, the voting percentage was just 16%. One was worried, but then it picked up. High voter turnout very clearly signed, Barka. In UP's terms, it is usually seen as that one, if less voters are coming out to vote, means that they are not coming out to vote out the government. If there is a higher voting pattern, then usually what people say, as you said, perhaps vote for a change. The second also perhaps, as you were saying, that perhaps the committed cadres are trying to assert themselves, that they are trying to say that they want to vote whom they are voting for. So perhaps in Uttar Pradesh, the picture could well take any direction. But Barka, if you remember last week when we were discussing elections, then we had decided the title of the program would be Mayawati versus the rest. And perhaps this round depicts that kind of election. Mayawati versus the rest. She walked away with 32 odd seats out of the 55 last time around. And that is why all the politicians, political parties and the observers will be looking at these 55 seats and the 62.7 voting percentage, because if the voting percentage is higher, it means certainly something And if it means that people are wanting change, then Mayawati has to be worried. If the committed cadres have come out and voted well, then perhaps it could well mean that Mayawati can smile a little bit. Maybe not broad smile, but a little smile.
But let's get the discussion started. We'll be joined by several other panelists. But let me introduce the two guests we have here in Allahabad. We have Naveed Siddiqui. He is, of course, the State Secretary of the Samajwadi Party, as well as the spokesperson. And we have a very learned voice of Uttar Pradesh from Allahabad University. We have Professor Yogeshwar Tiwari. And we will, of course, be joined by other political voices shortly as well. Naveed, if I can start with you. Rahul Srivastava makes this interesting point that earlier it seemed to be Mayawati versus the rest. But if Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav were to be believed, then while everybody else describes this as a four-cornered contest, for the Samajwadi Party and the BSP, this is really a two-cornered contest. It's Mulayam / Akhilesh versus Mayawati. Is that how you see it?
Yes, we see it like this only, Barkha. And the thing is that the youths, the nation, the state, they are fed up with this corruption and everything like this sort of thing. And what we say, what we see, the charisma, it's the charisma of Akhilesh Yadav ji, which is working wonders, and it is doing wonders because the thing is that he's moving through, he's a person of roots, we can say. He's starting with the roots and going to the villages, going to the people, meeting the people, and wherever we are going, we are meeting everybody, and we are getting this feedback that people are really fed up by this government because the government because it has not done anything right now except for placing some statues.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.